Barbie!
I told you to wait in the dream house.
Boys, avenge me! Avenge me! Avengers!
Bazinga.
Scruffy-looking nerf herders.
Ethan Hunt contacted you?
I am good, Rooster. I'm very good.
So you are Yori's a trainer who trains.
Gonzo the Great will ride this baby again.
Hello and welcome to episode 54 of the Real Serious Podcast. As always, joined by Jack and Charles. We got Wolfman, we got Severance, we got Nintendo Switch 2, we got TikTok is canceled, and there is no other big news that happened yesterday at all, so we can just move straight into movie news and not talk about sports at all. That is for sure.
He's in denial, Jack.
He doesn't want to address the lion in the room. He doesn't want to address it.
So I was there,
Yep.
and I think the window is closed. I think that may be it for another, maybe in lifetime. I'll be honest. Maybe I'm a pessimist.
I think you're
I did go. I've listen. Charles has known my sports takes long enough. Jack has really been introduced to my sports takes this year, but I've been good this year, so he hasn't seen a lot. I am a perpetual pessimist when it comes to sports. I'm convinced my teams will lose. Now, as a Detroit Lions fan and Detroit sports fan in general, I have been trained to be that way. But I think I don't know. I think this might be it. To be honest, I think that was the window, and I just think it might be over for a long time.
Maybe for a long time, but I don't think it's over.
I mean, sure, if we go far enough out, I'm sure we'll have another chance. But It felt like that was the window.
This was your year.
And
yeah.
And the window is
screwed
closed. Injuries are bad, and they finally caught up in the worst possible time. We're gonna lose the coordinators. I do think it's probably done. I don't think we'll be bad next year. I just think the window is slammed, and that sucks to think about.
Yeah.
So
sorry, man.
And also, it sucks. It was to a likable guy. Like Jaden Daniels is very likable, and he's a cool, nice guy, and that's where it sucks more. And it's also another poverty franchise, so that's where it also sucks more. Damn.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, the Commanders had 1 year of rebuild and went 12-5 this year and are going to the NFC Championship. And the Colts have been rebuilding for 8 years.
Yeah.
And we don't have anything. So that's fact.
The worst part is if you go back in Lions history and you look at the year that they thought they were going to make the run with Barry Sanders, the team that knocked him out of the playoffs was also the Washington. Well, not the Commanders, the Redskins at the time, but the Washington team. So
they've got
history repeats itself. We live in a simulation, and everything is the worst. Also, just 2 seasons ending the exact same way for both of my football teams is just tough. Very promising, beginnings of the season, and then postseason is just a disaster.
Yeah.
So yeah, what a somber way to start this episode. Sorry about that.
Thank you for sharing your feelings with us.
Yeah. No. Hey, listen. Maybe I'll look like a fool next year, and something cool will happen. But I really did think maybe the curse was done, and it wasn't same old Lions. And then being there last night really felt like same old Lions, and that was tough. That was tough to understand in the moment while being there. I've never seen as many grown men cry walking out of a stadium. You could tell fathers with their grown adult sons who also have sons were just I thought this was the moment I would see it with my dad, and then the dad's realizing they're probably gonna be dead before they get to see it again. It was a moment of just super sadness.
Oh my God.
Listen, it happens.
Did you cry?
For you. No,
cry?
No, we went into the game, and we listen to sports talk radio all the time, and they were very high. They're we're gonna win this. It's over. And me being the perpetual pessimist, I was I feel like I've seen this movie before, and I definitely know the ending. So I was more expecting an L if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, I didn't think we would lose, but I was like, if it happens, I'm not going to be shocked. So that's where I felt better about it, I guess. But no, it was tough.
Hey, I had a sports take about a week and a half ago. I was talking to my buddy, and I told him I just don't see a world where an NFC North team does not make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, then they all were out. They all were out in the first game.
They all lost in the first chance they got.
Yeah.
So
well,
I don't know.
I realized yesterday where like I thought if the Packers won, we would have played the Packers, and then obviously I think they would have beat us as well if we played the way we did last night. I mean, 5 turnovers is just ridiculous, but it would have been worse if it was the Packers that beat us. I may have never recovered if the Packers knocked us out.
The thing that stinks is this could very easily be a Rams or Eagles Super Bowl. And that bums me.
Yeah. No, like now I need the Commanders to win and have just like a Cinderella season. Like I need the Commanders to win it all because that would make me feel like slightly better. Where it's like, all right, just the football gods were just on their side, and there's nothing anyone could do.
Yes.
If the Chiefs win and it's just like a bummer, and then I have to hear Mahomes go, I'm going to like Disney World, and then Kelsey, like I will maybe quit the sport. Like I will be so depressed.
I will be so mad,
especially if like they beat like Josh Allen in like a gross, stupid way to get to the Super Bowl. I will feel like the saddest person alive.
Well, all of America was rooting for a Bills-Lions Super Bowl.
Yeah, and now we're not going to get it. Like
anyone that's not a fan of any of the teams in the playoffs is just like, yeah, Bills-Lions. And now,
you already know it's like it's just over. Patrick Mahomes will win. It's ridiculous.
And
like,
now
it's inevitable.
That's the question now. It's like who do we root for?
Bills.
What are you guys rooting for?
The Bills.
Bills?
All the way.
I'm all in on the Bills. I'm actually all in on the Bills and Commanders. Just so I feel better.
I will take the Commanders. If the Bills lose, it's gonna. Oh my god! If the Bills lose, I don't even want to think about it.
Give me Ravens Commanders.
I wouldn't hate that as long as it's not Chiefs and as long as it's not Eagles or Rams.
Yeah.
If it's Chiefs Eagles, I don't even want to watch the game.
Yeah, no, America lost. That might be the worst thing that's happened to America ever.
All right. Let's move on.
In other news, what did we watch this week?
Yeah, what did we watch this week? Who wants to go first for that? I have to pull mine up.
I'll go first.
All right.
Pretty slow week for me, but I still feel like I got through a lot. First off, finally got to see Interstellar in 70mm IMAX. This was my first movie I saw or I've ever seen in 70mm. It was a life-changing experience, and I truly hope that everyone gets a chance to see a movie that they enjoy this much on a screen that big. So I think the entire time, like I felt so fortunate to just be like, I am in a 70mm IMAX theater watching a movie that I really care about and I really enjoy. And it just kind of felt like this whole, like every single like massive scene from that movie was just like goosebumps after goosebumps. And the first time I watched this movie, I watched it on my iPad. So just the massive difference between the size of this movie, obviously it shouldn't be watched on an iPad, but being able to see it on 70mm was truly a awesome experience. So hopefully there's more of those in the future, but that was just unreal. I got a photo. I don't know if I sent you guys this photo. Let me throw it in the chat really quick. But after the movie ended, some people were taking photos, and I was like, oh crap, maybe I should just take a photo really quick, you know? And I swear the screen just looked so big. I got this guy to take a picture of me, and it was like after the end credits, it looks like a poster behind me. But then when you zoom in on the head of one of the guys in the audience, you just see how big this screen is. You guys get it?
Yeah. Jeez.
That is
it was
huge.
just
Hunter, didn't we see the Batman in 70mm?
No, we saw it in IMAX, but not 70mm IMAX.
I think I saw Deadpool Wolverine in 70mm in New York.
Maybe.
I'm pretty certain. And
did you go to the Times Square?
Yeah.
Then most likely.
Yeah.
That is the largest one in the nation.
It is just like you're just looking straight up.
I saw Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning and it was just incredible. Like Tom
awesome.
Cruise running, it's the size of a building. It's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in your life. It's amazing.
It's so hard to watch anything on any screen that's not 70 millimeter after you have. So it's like, especially going back to the Bloomington Theater, it's like, oh my gosh, like this feels so small.
Yeah.
But really love that experience. And then I don't know, just a small kind of like filmmaker that I found on like TikTok a couple years ago. It's like Luca Pizzolio. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing his name, but he kind of had like a short film that he'd kind of been marketing for a while. It's called OCD. I watched that this week. Really enjoyed it. It's kind of fun, like finding someone that like isn't, you know, mainstream, that's kind of just like on their way up, that's making their short films and stuff, and kind of following them along. So it's been kind of fun to see him kind of progress in his journey. And then I had the double header of the century with Den of Thieves 2 and then Wolfman. Den of Thieves 2, I honestly really enjoyed. I don't think I like it as much as the first, but what I've learned through these movies is that the first hour is it's entertaining, but it's nothing mind-blowing. You're just kind of like, all right, like just get me to the second hour of this movie. And the second hour of the movie is just always so good. So Den of Thieves 2 was pretty good. And I think the ending was absolutely electric. It was the needle drop went crazy. Then I saw Wolfman, and then I had to throw in a comedy special this week, so I watched Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly.
Nice.
Love me some Dave Chappelle. And then
He was good on SNL last night. He was good.
I haven't watched any of the clips yet, so I'm
He had
excited
a pretty
to watch
good
those.
monologue.
Dave never disappoints.
Our local SNL head, Hunter.
Yeah, dude, it's actually like such
One of 13 in the nation.
I cannot wait for the 50th. We're gonna have to review the 50th anniversary special. Like, I'm actually pumped to see how below average that is.
Well, the 40th was good. We talked about it, I think, either last week or the week before.
Yeah, the
Will
40th was good,
Ferrell
but
and Jeopardy.
so not to go on SNL diatribe, but like I think what really hurts SNL is when they go so political that they're making a statement versus making fun of somebody.
You got to make
And they
fun
have
of both sides. I feel
no,
like.
exactly. And I think that the issue they've had for so long is they were basically like, how do you do, fellow kids, to a very particular side of the aisle. And I think it hurts the perception of the show, where it's like, I think the whole point of the show is that these people are all idiots and we should make fun of all of them. And then when you don't, it takes people out of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm there to watch SNL as escapism, not to be like lectured at, whether you agree with the politics or not. I think that is the whole point of it.
It's respectful
Fair.
take.
All right.
And then I had my last movie. Obviously, I'm sure we'll just talk a little bit more about David Lynch, but I had never seen any of his movies. Obviously, I knew he was a massive figure in the film community, and he impacted so many people and just the way that the films were made. So I feel like I had to watch one this week, and I finally watched Mulholland Drive. Really, really liked it. I feel like I would give it 5 stars if I watched it like right after. Honestly, one of the movies that I left and I was like, wow, like that first viewing experience is one that I feel like would be ranking some of my top movies that I've seen, because it just gets to a point where I'm like, I understand what's going on, and then I don't. And then that's immediately just me going online, and I'm just like, explain this movie to me, YouTube, please. I'm desperate. But
Chat, what's happening? Chat, what's going on?
It really was. I was so I was trying to put the pieces together in my head, and I think it was fun to try and do those. But I'm excited that I'm frustrated that I haven't watched his movies while he was still alive, but I'm very happy that I'm just gonna dive into them now. So really good movie. Maybe we do a director dive on him sometime in the near future.
Yeah. No, and I think it's very interesting. Like, David Lynch is very influential to the movies that we get today, but he really hasn't. I don't know. Like, in my movie fandom, I didn't really experience a lot of David Lynch, just like you, where it's because he's been so non-existent in like making feature films. I mean, his last one was in 2006, so like I was like 4. So it's hard to be like, I'm a big David Lynch guy, just because I haven't had the opportunity to go back and like revisit a lot of those. But the influence he's had is just so much. I mean, my man made Dune.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
Charlie, what'd you watch this week?
I only got around to 2 movies. I started a third one. I watched 12 Angry Men for the first time, which I know I mentioned last week that I was going to watch it. It just barely missed out of my top 4 favorite movies.
Wow.
We almost got an update. We almost got an update in the top 4.
Folks.
But fellas, those top 4 are, it's going to be really hard to beat them. So 12 Angry Men is my number 5. I gave it 5 stars. It was, I don't really know how to really describe. I looked up a lot of reviews because I was curious why other people liked it. And I think the most intriguing thing about it is just how well they were able to develop 12 people in a movie in 1 hour and 40 minutes that are so like polarizing and different, and watch them collaborate and like argue and collaborate and just like and just I don't know. It was just a very impressive movie to me. Couldn't really like take my eyes off the screen. Every piece of dialogue was so like perfectly placed and intricate, and yeah, it was just a very good movie. And then I watched The Lighthouse. And this one was probably one that I will never revisit again.
No.
Kind of, yeah, it kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth if you guys catch my drift. But I gave it 3 stars, and I've got some nerd nuggets about it if you guys are interested.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
So, do either of you know the inspiration of this film?
I want to say it was these gentlemen who had gone out to, it's a very similar story where their job was to tend the lighthouse for a certain amount of time. And there was like a journal or diary, I want to say, that they wrote down. And there was some like mythical things that were kind of in the journal that were fully drawn out in the movie.
Yeah. I thought there was a story of like that they just went missing too. And then no one ever figured out where they went.
So, the inspiration was an incident that occurred in 1801. It was called the Small Lighthouse Incident, and alleged 2 lighthouse keepers, both named Thomas,
Nice.
were at a lighthouse, and they like argued pretty often. Apparently, one of them died in a freak accident, and the other one, fearful of getting kind of blamed for it, because like there's no witness, it would look like that.
Yeah,
it would look like he killed him. He took his body and put it in a coffin, and like apparently put it outside like on a ledge. And every time the wind hit it, it would look like his arm was moving, like kind of beckoning him over to him.
They did Weekend at Bernie's,
and so then, so then apparently this other guy, this Thomas that was alive, went like super crazy because he just kept seeing this arm move like he was calling him over. So when the authorities found him, he was just like deranged. And so from then on, they made a rule that there have to be 3 lighthouse keepers at a time, not 2.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That, and it was also based off of like a Robert Edgar Poe story. But that was like the main kind of inspiration story-wise. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I did not, but I read online that it's Eggers, right? Robert Eggers.
Mm-hmm.
Alan. Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking of Alan Edgar Poe. I got the 2 mixed up, didn't I?
Yeah, a little bit. Wait,
I
Yeah.
pieced together what was going on.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Alan Edgar Poe. Robert Eggers. He used a 1.19 to 1 ratio for his camera work, the film, instead of widescreen. So for like one reason, because widescreen wasn't like made until the 50s. And the second reason, because it made the film look a lot more claustrophobic, and he wanted the audience to feel like they were stuck with the Thomases, like really claustrophobic.
Like oh man,
yeah.
Those are good nuggets, man.
I mean, it definitely
Alan
works.
Edgar Poe. God, Um,
Hey, listen, it's all good. It's all good. We got
But
what's
then-
happening.
so you guys know the end when this is a spoiler, but at the end, one of the Thomases is like lying down and seagulls are kind of pecking at him.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what the significance of that is?
I've seen some
It
people
looks-
tie
it
it to
looks
like
sick.
Prometheus a little bit.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you both know the story of Prometheus. Like he's the guy that stole
Yeah.
fire and then he was punished
Yeah.
by the Greek gods. So people speculate that Willem Dafoe's Thomas was like Proteus, the Greek god of, I forget what he's the Greek god of. And then the other Thomas, Robert Pattinson's, was Prometheus. And so him stealing the fire was the lighthouse, going up into the lighthouse. And then he was punished by the seagulls like pecking at him for all of eternity.
Oh, I actually like that.
So yeah,
Nice,
that's
man.
all I got for the lighthouse. And then
I
the
feel
last
like I should have a nerd nugget for my movies then.
the last film I started was Casablanca.
Okay, Charles has been on cinema recently.
I'm trying to catch
Like-
up a little bit. I've
Yeah, no, Chuck has been really moving with cinema here.
So I'll finish Casablanca this week. And then on my docket, kind of like on deck in the hole, I want to watch Fight Club soon. And I would like to watch The Godfathers, but I
Well-
don't have any way to watch them.
If you watch Fight Club, you can't tell us about it.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Actually, wait, aren't The Godfathers on Paramount Plus?
I don't have Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
it is on Paramount Plus.
but
Yeah. If it was on Mubi, you'd have it. You'd be good if it was on Mubi.
yeah, but
So
that's what I watched. The Lighthouse, Robert Eggers, based on Alan Edgar Poe.
there it is. All right, let me see what the last date okay, so my first thing I watched was Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Very different from The Lighthouse.
I imagine.
So, but I do think this may be one of the best comedies the last 15, 20 years. Like, I think it is almost a perfect comedy. My nerd nugget for this, because I'm making it up right now, but actually this is true, is that Jason Segel was like really poor, and he actually wrote that Dracula musical that's in the end of the movie. That was like a real thing he did and tried to get made, and then he didn't, so he just put it into the Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which rocks.
That's hilarious.
Then I tried to do double feature, so I saw Wolfman, and then I had tickets for Better Man, and I got to the theater, and it was canceled. And I asked why it was canceled, and they said because they didn't sell enough tickets.
You should just bought two.
I guess I should have. So yeah, I couldn't see Better Man, unfortunately, which now I actually really want to see it, and I'm going to be on a quest to try to figure out how to watch this movie. But The Brutalist is now showing in my theater, so I'm going to try to see that this week as well. So I'm going to figure that out. And then I watched Severance, which we'll talk about in a little bit, because oh boy. And then I've continued my James Bond kind of like a journey, and I watched the second James Bond, From Russia with Love, the second Sean Connery Bond. And it's very interesting to see where the action genre was to now where it is today. And I liked it, so I gave this 3.5 stars. But I just don't think, like, it's not like I appreciate it more than I like it, versus just I think it's just a little slow for me, especially for the action that I like. But I think that'll evolve over time with the evolution of the genre itself. So while I still did like this Bond, I still like Connery as Bond. It's just, I think, missing a little bit of the glitz and the glamour that I like of my modern Bond. So yeah. Also, they did the whole post-credit scene basically in this movie. Like, at the end of this movie, it says James Bond will return in Goldmember. And it does the thing. So for everyone saying the MCU ruined cinema, why don't you go back to 1963 and blame From Russia with Love? Because they did it first. So yeah, that's all I had. Also, breaking news. Yep, breaking news. TikTok was banned and apparently is already back. So
Bruh.
we did it. We survived, folks. We did.
Okay.
We survived the TikTok ban.
Is it a hot take to say that I didn't mind TikTok being gone?
Yeah, there was a moment like this morning when I was about to go on it to just like kill time and it wasn't there, and I kind of liked that.
Right?
I was like, this is nice. I have to like go do other things. So I just went to YouTube instead. So
All right.
but listen, it's better for your brain, I think, because long form content. Your attention span's better.
This wasn't even gone for a full 24 hours.
No. Oh, but I did love all of like the influencers. Like, you guys don't understand like what this is doing. Like I get it. But also there's just something else would fill its place if it was gone.
Yeah. Can I throw something in?
Yeah.
So I feel like I had a pretty good list of skits for this week. I just could not bring any of them to fruition. And one of them was going to be a TikTok like goodbye, but in like the funniest way. Because like this week you saw all these big influencers, and obviously TikTok is massive, and a lot of these people, have like quit their jobs and stuff so that they can do TikTok full time. And
yeah, no, like that does suck. Like that is
so
like,
much respect,
really,
so much
really
respect for those individuals. But then you got some of these other people that are just kind of like, it'd be like us going on there and be like, guys, our friends.
Yeah.
We are so thankful for you guys, for the dedication you've given us on TikTok. And I wanted to just like, I don't know, I was going to fledge it out just to make it this just so outrageous goodbye to TikTok. But I just, for the life of me, I couldn't give it the respect that I feel like it
and
required.
once they got rid of the Jeremy Renner app, like I just stopped really falling in love with apps because I mean once the best one's gone, it's like everything else is just not good in comparison. So it was very sad. It's one of those things that it's a shame. But it's back already, so I guess it's not that big of a shame.
Are you sure it's back already?
I'll read the tweet live. We're the first podcast to read the tweet live on air. Let's see. It's back is trending on Twitter right now in reference to TikTok.
Guys.
Right. Oh, here we go. Statement from TikTok from 37 minutes ago. TikTok is in the process of restoring service. We thank President Trump for providing necessary clarity and assurance to our service providers that they will face no penalties, providing TikTok to over 170 million Americans and allowing 7 million small businesses to thrive. Wow. 170 million people are on TikTok daily.
It's half America.
Maybe it was good they banned it. That's insane.
It's half America.
That's insane. My God.
Yeah, that yeah. I don't think you can download it yet from the App Store though, because it's not showing up in the app. I deleted it.
Oh,
and
no, I still have my phone. Here, wait, I'll look at my phone right now. Also, I did see a
Jack
tweet.
just showed us. He's got it.
Oh, okay. I saw a funny tweet, and it was first TikTok I've seen after the Americans left, and it was a guy like making beans on toast. It was just like, "Come back, Americans! I miss you." So I thought that was pretty good. All right, ready to get in some news?
I'm so excited for some news.
Oh, this first one. Excitement off the charts. Ready for this? All right. Who wants to win $500 if you can tell me who the terrorist is in the first Iron Man movie?
No. Oh, shoot.
The first one?
The first movie, the main bad guy.
Oh, I got it.
Not Obsidian or whatever his name is. Amadeus.
Oh,
the actual guy.
I know.
You're never
Trevor.
gonna get it.
In the third one, Trevor is the man.
Yeah, no. So it's Raza. Raza was played by Farhan Tahir. Sorry for butchering that. 17 years later is coming back to Vision Quest. So pretty hype.
Vision Quest?
Yeah, the Vision spin-off show.
Oh, sweet.
For White Vision.
Can't wait for that one. So
everyone's favorite Iron Man 1 character is coming back. Pretty sweet. I had to include this just because it's just insane. They're like, you know who should bring back? Raza.
The guy who started it all.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he technically did. Raza
Yeah,
trickle effect. Raza might be the most important character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe if you think about it.
Thanos would have snapped everybody if it wasn't for him. So
yeah,
shout out the homie.
Shout out. So yeah, there it is. Cool, I guess. And then I think we all deserve to do a nice clap, round of applause, and congratulations of Honora. making the Criterion Collection. Very, very exciting for it. I think well deserved. I will say, I think it's always weird when like a new movie immediately goes into the Criterion Collection. But
Now,
you know
Hunter,
what? Shout out.
for those listeners that don't know what the Criterion Selection is.
The Criterion Collection, yeah. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, for all the listeners who don't know.
Yeah, for all the listeners who don't know. I think the best way to summarize what the Criterion Collection is basically it is a collection of cinema that people like that I think it's a committee votes on that is basically important cinema that needs to be preserved and then showcased throughout basically forever because the Criterion Collection keeps it so that it can be kind of reproduced and shown. And so there's a lot of great things in there. I think actually there's here. Let's see. Shop the collection.
I'm looking at them right now. I haven't seen a lot of them.
I love the Criterion Collection because it puts a lot of stuff on Blu-ray and 4K that just never really would be. So like Seven Samurai in 4K, got the original Godzilla. There's a lot of stuff that I agree. I have never seen, but usually if the Criterion Collection gives it a stamp of approval, that is something that you want to check out. So yeah, like some good examples, The Shape of Water. Actually, Wall-E just made the Criterion Collection, which is No Country for Old Men, Paris, Texas. Some pretty notable films. So
I'm
very excited for Nora,
and I don't see any that I've seen.
Well, there you go. Now
Maybe this is a wake-up call.
And then they add them every like couple months. They add new films to the Criterion Collection. So in this new upcoming slate, you got Anora, Some Like It Hot, Godzilla versus Bolanine, Thief by Michael Mann, Kronos, Guillermo del Toro, Punch Drunk Love. So Adam Sandler is now in the Criterion Collection. Pretty exciting.
That's huge.
And then I think a lot of people know the Criterion Collection from like the closet videos where people go in the Criterion closet and then they shop the Criterion closet. That's like a pretty famous thing now. So yeah, shout out Anora making the Criterion Collection. I will be pre-ordering, but I'll probably wait till the half off sale, which happens quite often. So yeah. Also, I do think, it's bad radio, apologies.
This is really
But I'm pretty sure Michael Bay has 2 films in the Criterion Collection.
Definitely Bad Boys 2.
He does. He has The Rock. The Rock and Armageddon are both in the Criterion Collection. So never forget, Michael Bay is a 2-time Criterion Collection director.
Guys, I'm at number 500, and I haven't seen a single one that I've
Here,
watched.
let me
Granted, I haven't been looking super
grab
close,
some stuff from the wall real quick. Hang on.
This is humbling. I don't recognize a thing.
I'm gonna stand with you, Chuck. Did you just shop the Criterion Collection and you're just gonna scroll through?
What's that?
You're just are you looking at the now available and you just started scrolling down?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Was that not the right way to go?
Oh no, I have no idea. I've just seen. Have you seen No Country for Old Men?
So here's an example.
That come up yet?
So here's an example of the Criterion Collection. So here's Do the Right Thing, a Spike Lee joint on the Criterion Collection, and they do like special releases, which are nice. Here's another one, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Criterion Collection.
I like that one.
A lot of Wes Anderson's actually in the Criterion Collection.
Oh, it's mad world.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that one?
Oh, yeah, another streaming service you can join is the Criterion Channel. So,
you guys should watch It's a Mad World from 1960.
Actually, I believe Eyes Wide Shut is in the Criterion Collection. Don't quote me on that. It's on the Criterion Channel right now.
I tell you, to be in the truck, the Criterion truck, and them ask you like just to pick them out would quite possibly be
the greatest thing of all time. Yeah, no, that's how you know someone is like super cinema is if they're Criterion heads. So also Parasite's in the Criterion Collection. That's what I'm waiting to get. If you are someone who wants to get into the Criterion Collection, I urge you to wait about 3 to 4 times a year. Barnes & Noble's does a half off sale, which means it goes half off everywhere, including Amazon. And that's when I think you should pick up some Criterion films. Risky Business just joined the Criterion Collection, which I have back there as well. And so, yeah, it's a good, and they also do like cool stuff on the DVD and Blu-rays where it's like some interesting behind the scenes stuff as well. So
I might
Highly,
get the
highly recommend.
box one. It's kind of cool.
It's a nice one. It's a nice set.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Criterion talk. Look at us, dude. We're cinema guys. We're not just average Joes. All right.
Well,
We
considering that
actually
I've
talk
seen 3
cinema.
on this list, and I'm at number 924.
All right, speak for yourself, pal.
Maybe. Oh, the Prince.
Hey, Charles. Guess what's on the Criterion collection that you just watched? 12 Angry Men, baby. 12 Angry Men.
You were just scrolling so fast. You're like, I don't understand these. I don't know these.
Where's 12
You
Angry
do.
Men? 12.
It's at the very top.
509.
If you click
Yeah.
shop.
All right, whatever. This is a rabbit hole.
Yeah. So yeah, that was some cool news, I thought. Back to our real cinema. DC Swamp Thing, baby. DC is the Swamp Thing movie coming out. James Mangold. He basically just said it's going to be its own kind of thing. It's not super connected to anything else. It's going to be like a simple, clean, gothic horror movie. And honestly, for sure, man, you do you. It is. I'm not super interested in like how Swamp Thing connects to the rest of it. I'd rather just have a good movie.
Never been more in.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Also, James Mangold.
He's Ford v Ferrari, Logan, Complete Unknown recently.
Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny. Ooh.
The Wolverine.
All right, so here's my thing with James Mangold, though. If you go back in his filmography, I think that he does one bad movie and then two good.
310 to Yuma. This guy
Yeah,
rocks.
no, that's a good one. So he does like one bad one and then two good ones in a row. Because if you go like the Wolverine, he did then Logan and Ford v Ferrari right after that. And so then
Greatest
Indiana
Show.
Jones, he does Complete Unknown and then this next one. So that should be good too. Also, Greatest Show.
This guy does it
Was
all.
he a producer in The Greatest Showman?
Yeah, he didn't direct The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, executive producer. Yeah.
This is
'cause
the
we all-
greatest show.
I mean, Michael Gracie, one of the best musical directors of all time, also recently just directed Better Man, which
Oh, yeah, I'd
if you
like
have
to
the
see it.
opportunity- Yeah, they're trying to silence us. They're
Yeah,
trying to
apparently.
silence us. Look, they don't want you to know who Robbie Williams is.
No,
don't want you
no
to-
one does know who Robbie Williams is. That's the issue.
I know who Robbie Williams is more than I know who Bob Dylan is. So that's my opinion. Yeah.
But he is directing not James Mangold, but that guy is directing Tangled. So cool.
Very
Tangled.
excited. Yes.
Hype.
Tangled
I'm
with
very excited.
Timothy Chalamet and Sabrina Carpenter rumor.
That would be the most X movie of all time. X, the everything.
I
app.
think Jonathan
Everything's
Bailey should
happening on
play
X.
Flynn Rider.
Whenever you say Flynn Rider, I think of the Clash of Clans commercials going Hog Rider.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I
I always think of the face that he makes, like,
yeah.
you know, when he's like looking up.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Dude, it's a good movie.
Actually, last time I saw that, I think I was like 13 and I was at the dentist and they were doing something that took a while. So I watched the whole thing in the chair while they were
What were they
dentisting
doing to you?
They were like fitting me for Invisalign. So like I had to like sit there and it had to like set and then they had to like do a couple other things. So it took like 2 hours. And so I just watched, they had Tangled on. And I was like, all right. Guess we're
And then you
Tangled.
walked down Letterboxd at 14 at the
Yeah.
ripe age of 14.
2.5 stars, not in the Criterion collection, did not like. So that's what I gave that.
Yeah.
We're gonna save the video game news for last because actually I'm pretty interested in your guys' thoughts on that. Gremlins. Anyone a Gremlins head here? I've seen the
Never
first
seen
one.
it.
I've never seen the second one.
I see it on my letterbox at like 12 o'clock at night or whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
don't feed him after midnight.
it just pops up, you know.
Well, a new
Oh,
Gremlins
that's the
is
thing?
in the works. Yeah, if you go out try to log something after midnight, the Gremlin shows up.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because that's from the
Never
movie. You
logged
can't feed him
anything.
after midnight.
I've watched 354 movies and I've never logged something after midnight.
No, you're a nerd.
I want to say it's not every single time. I want to say
I'm pretty sure it's every time after midnight.
really okay.
I think so.
I'm a scrub.
There's a lot of like weird ones on Letterboxd that you can. There's like the Easter eggs you can do.
Mission Impossible. Those were
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, Mission Impossible was good. The Fight
So yeah,
Club
they're
was
making
good.
the Fight One
Sorry.
Club. I like. I'm trying to think what else. I think Dune has like eyes that are blue. If you try to do something, I have to find out.
Okay.
The Interstellar one had one.
What are
Portrait of a Lady on Fire has one.
What's the news around Gremlins?
They're making a third one, apparently.
Oh.
That's the news. So, yeah, that's about it, I guess.
All right, cool.
I don't know. I that's all I really got for you on that. I just think that it's kind of cool. I mean, I like the first Gremlins. I've never seen the second Gremlins. I think the Gizmo is pretty cute. Who's like the fuzzy non-gremlin gremlin. So yeah, and also I love the puppet. Like they're just all puppets. So if they do this again, they better be puppets again. And if they're CGI, I will send an angry letter. I'm gonna start a letter writing campaign and really get back at WB.
Big puppet guy over here.
I'm a big puppet guy. Also the Goonies. Yes, we like the Goonies.
I really like
a
the
really
original.
long time, but it's good.
Well, they're apparently doing a reboot of the Goonies. No, thank you is my answer for that.
Yeah,
no, thank you.
No thanks.
Hand up, I'm good.
Only if all of the child actors grow up to be iconic, like the old Goonies.
Josh Brolin, and you got
Yeah. Sean Astin.
Sean Astin.
Yeah, you got Samwise.
Yep.
So my only thought for Goonies is if you're gonna do it, you have to set it in a different time period. Yeah, I don't want modern day Goonies. I will be very upset if modern day Goonies happens and they have to go down in the caves like, I don't have cell service. That will anger me to my core. I want Goonies. I want old Goonies. Like I want like 1930s Goonies or like the 1990s where they all have Game Boys. That I would be okay with.
70s would be kind of cool. They're on like
70s is cool.
tie-dye.
Yeah, they got like the fun like long hair. I don't want the 80s and I don't want today. That's my two options, and you can't do those two options.
You want a Stranger Things themed Goonies movie?
No, see, that's what I'm saying. Like Goonies, my Goonies fill has been filled with either the first one or I guess Stranger Things. Like, and also it was like a great spin on the Goonies movies. Like I'm good. My fill is good. I don't need any more Goonies.
I think if you had the Goonies today, and you know that awesome sequence where they're all like hanging out at the house and they're messing with the statue. Josh Brolin is like lifting in the living room.
Yeah,
that would not happen today. They would all be on Xbox. Like, hey guys, what are we doing today?
Yeah, they got join my Discord call.
Sitting on the couch, laying back, just scrolling on TikTok. I mean, it would
that.
No, you already know it's going to be like a mom's like, hey guys, go outside. And then they finally go outside and they have like an adventure. And they're like, I guess I didn't need screens the whole time to have fun. And that'll make me so angry. Ugh. Yeah, it's actually so funny how I feel like so defensive of Goonies. But like Karate Kid, I'm like, yeah, let's do another one. I just think it's just very specific about Goonies.
I think it's just seen as like this classic in my head.
It
something
is.
I watched when I was young, watched with my grandparents. One of my favorite movies growing up, one I haven't revisited in a while that I've been trying to revisit. But I think in our minds, it's just kind of on this pedestal. And it may not be all that great, but it's just a very nostalgic movie for a lot of people. So hopefully they don't screw that up in the worst way possible.
Yeah, just don't touch it. Like, okay, if you want to do Goonies, like do like a spiritual sequel instead of like, I don't want the Goonies 2.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Whatever. We can't stop them. We can't stop the corporate machine.
Exactly.
All right. I wanted to talk about this to see if we had any interest in speaking on it, but Nintendo Switch 2. I know I'm a big Nintendo head. I know Charles is as well. Jack, I don't know your affiliation with the corporate conglomerate known as Nintendo. But are we excited about? I'm pretty excited about it. But also like this is like my thing. So
what are the differences?
So it's gonna be bigger. It's gonna have it's like bigger Joy-Cons, bigger screen, a new Mario Kart that looks pretty fun. Apparently like the Joy-Cons can be used as like a mouse now, or like you put on like a desk and you can like use it as a mouse for some certain games. It's apparently the power level of a PS4. So like that's way more powerful than the Switch is. I don't know, like I just I'm pretty pumped about this. I'm like a sucker for anytime Mario does anything, like I'm set, I'm there. So
I think this will be another Wii U.
I really hope not. But then again, I do love the Wii U, dude. Wii U within reaching distance.
There you go.
What are the odds of that?
It just, I don't know. The thing with Nintendo is they'll come out with like something revolutionary, and then it's not, and then revolutionary, and then it's not, and then revolutionary, and then it's not revolutionary, and this just sounds like the next thing that's not going to be revolutionary, and people aren't going to buy it. Like I like Nintendo a lot. Hearing all that, it's kind of like the Wii U. Like I've got the Switch. I don't really care about another Mario Kart. I'm probably not going to buy this.
So they're saying that everything is basically forwards compatible or backwards compatible. So like all Switch games will work on the Switch 2, but not Switch 2 games will work on the Switch 1.
Right. It's about
let me see. I think the Nintendo Switch is like one of the most high-selling consoles ever.
I mean, yeah, it's like the Wii. Wii was great. Switch was great. Wii U was not different enough from the Wii to get people to buy it. And that's kind of what this sounds like.
So, okay, here we go. So the PlayStation 2 is still the most sold console of all time, followed by the Nintendo DS and then the Nintendo Switch. So there you go. It's sold 146 million units.
It's a lot of units.
Not as many users as there are on TikTok, though.
Yeah, so true.
In the United States.
Wow. I actually did not realize it was that many. That's pretty cool.
Shout out Nintendo.
Shout out Nintendo. The PlayStation, though, also running it up there.
Yeah, PlayStation 2 is
good for them.
Something special.
Were you a PS2 guy?
Nope, never owned one.
Oh, I thought you were about to like go into like back in my day. I really loved the PS2.
No, I never had a PS2, but I know that like people just like love the PS2, and there's so much you can play on it. Like there's so many games, and they're pretty inexpensive now. So
yeah, the PS2 is pretty great.
Yeah,
as someone who does like to go back and sometimes play those old GTAs, good time. All right, let's get into some trailers. So I ordered these trailers based on, I think, kind of our personal interest in them. So I decided to start it out with Drop, which I couldn't find this trailer online, but I did see it before, like seeing Wolfman. So did anyone else? Like I couldn't so I don't think Charles could see it, but Jack and I watched it. So basically, it's this lady who gets airdropped threatening messages at a date, and then the airdrops are basically like, I will kill your family unless you kill your date, and she's like freaking out. This was one of the worst trailers I've ever seen in my entire life. This was like the least. This really was awful. I was shocked how little I liked this trailer. So
it was Carry On, but on a date.
This movie is also about 9 years too late. I do love these horror movies with like, oh, my phone is the villain. I think the average person would probably just like after one or two like spam airdrops would just turn their phone off. And then like the villain of this would have no ability to do anything. So yeah, I almost want to see it now just to understand how insane it is. It's also produced by Michael Bay, which is just insane. Once again, Criterion director Michael Bay.
It's also starring someone that a lot of people are, once again, it always comes back to Batman.
Batman.
A potential candidate for
that guy.
Batman.
He is who they want him to be Batman.
Brandon Sklenar?
I forgot that.
I'm butchering his name so bad. So my future potential Batman, I'm so sorry. Do not show up at my house ready to beat me to a pulp. But seeing him in that, I was like, I'm intrigued. And then I saw the entire trailer and I'm just like, what is this? Yeah, I might go see that with you, Hunter. I feel like I have to see how bad this movie is.
It was like a shocking trailer. Like I was kind of waiting for like the other like the M&M's ad or something to like start, like thinking it was like a fake trailer, and it was just real. So that's what happened there. Another trailer I thought was maybe an SNL skit gone wrong was The Alto Knights, starring Robert De Niro, playing two mob bosses. So he's playing Vito and Frank, a pair of Italian Americans who run two separate crime families in the mid 20th century. One of them attempts to assassinate the other, even though he's retired from the mob. Stars Robert De Niro as both mob bosses. I'm sorry, no thank you. This does not look good.
I don't think
This
I
looks
saw
really
trailer.
bad.
I didn't think it looked that bad, but I don't think it. It's funny because as Frank, Robert De Niro looks just like Robert Duvall, and they already kind of look alike to a certain degree. But like the makeup they have him in, it's like they basically could be twins. I will say the makeup on the other one to me just looked a little off too, which obviously I am not a master of makeup, so I can't really critique there, but I guess it's also just looking at Robert De Niro and makeup and stuff and kind of saying it's still Robert De Niro. It's just they gave him a bigger nose or something, like, yeah. I don't know how I feel about this movie. I'm not in, I'm not out.
Yeah. I'm very interested in Robert De Niro's career. Like, so if you go on his IMDb, looking at 2023, he was in Killers of the Flower Moon, which was, I think, a very strong performance from him. And then he's in the comedy About My Father, Ezra, which I've never heard of, with Bobby Cannavale. And then he's also in 5 episodes of a Italian TV series called Nada, which was on Star, another streaming service. And then, so yeah, he just does these like weird. He's got like a cycle. So like, if you go back to The Irishman, he did The Irishman, then The War with Grandpa. So I don't know what he's just signing up for everything he can sign up for at this point, which maybe respect, but sorry, Robert De Niro. I don't know.
That's all I gotta say about that.
That's all I gotta say about that. So then there's 2 horror movies left before we talk about Daredevil. Until Dawn and The Monkey. I think the Until Dawn one looked worse, so we'll start with that. Until Dawn, based on the video game of the same name. A group is trapped in a remote valley by a murderer and are killed, but are sent back to the time and forced to relive their night of killings with a different murderer every single night. Directed by David F. Sandberg, the director of the 2 Shazam movies. I think this looked fine, but it didn't really move the needle for me, if I'm being honest.
You know where I stand. It's a horror movie.
So Chuck is in.
I
like the concept.
I do too.
Right? It's Happy Death Day. Like, again,
exactly.
It's just with different killers every single night.
I do think it's cool.
I've never played the game, so I can't really speak on it there. But
from what I've heard on social media, it sounds nothing like the actual game,
which is surprising.
Which maybe I obviously haven't played it, so I can't say it's 100% true. But I don't know. It feels. Just something here feels off. Like I'm getting bodies vibes with Happy Death Day, and I'm just kind of like, sure, that's a movie you could make.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel pretty similar about that. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. I think the game is pretty beloved, so maybe we're just missing out on what it is. But I don't know. It didn't. The next one though moved. I was pretty actually into. So that's The Monkey. The Monkey, directed by Osgood Perkins, who brought us a divisive film from this last year. Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we all kind of liked Long Legs. I didn't hate it. I just thought it didn't live up to what people said it was. But this one is getting similar reviews. It's about twin brothers, Bill and Hal, finding an old monkey in the toy in their father's attic. And then the monkey, I guess, just loves death. So he just keeps having people die. I think the comedy of it worked better than I expected in this trailer. I will say that.
Yeah. I was already into this movie. I really didn't need this trailer, to be honest. I'm just kind of like I'm already in, which
I like
feel
Theo James.
Me too.
Yeah,
And it has a monkey in it, so I'm already in.
it's got
Say
Bilbo
monkey, man.
or Frodo.
Yep.
It's got Frodo.
Frodo.
Elijah Wood is in this. So
Did I
Charlie's in.
miss him?
Yeah. Also,
You
She-Hulk
have to
is
go
in
see
this.
it.
Tatiana Maslany.
Wow, this is a stacked cast.
I know.
You should go see it, Charlie. It's a very
You should go
happy,
see this.
fun movie.
Oh, see, I looked it up to watch the trailer, and just by the thumbnail, I was like, nope, not for me.
It's about these twin brothers that love playing with their monkey, and the monkey loves to kill other action figures. You know,
Yeah.
not
Based
actually
on the Toy Story 3 monkey.
exactly
Of the same fear level.
Yeah, that thing was terrifying.
I will say this is like one of my favorite times of year because there's like a weird window for horror movies. Like in the beginning of the year, we get like the weird, wacky horror movies, and then in October and September area, we get like the more traditional ones. So I do kind of like those two eras for horror we always get every single year.
I like the middle of the year where you don't get any horror, personally.
You just get blockbusters.
Yeah,
Hey, that's okay, man.
thanks.
All right, let's talk Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again. We got the first full trailer. After 7 years, Daredevil has returned. The synopsis for this is Matt Murdock finds himself on a collision course with Wilson Fisk when their past identities begin to emerge. I think of all of us, am I the Daredevil guy of the group? Okay.
I think so.
Well, have you guys seen Daredevil? All right, so you have time. You have time. So I will say this. We've talked about the Penguin. We've talked about the boys. We've talked about Invincible. Daredevil clears. I do believe that. The Penguin might be the closest where it's close. Daredevil, I think, is better than the boys. I do think it's better than Invincible. Daredevil is an incredible show that I'm beyond excited has returned. The story of Matt Murdock is one of my favorites in comics, and the way they handle it is so good in the show. So this has a lot of big shoes to fill up to. Not a big shoes to fill up to. A lot of big shoes to fill when it comes to a sequel series. But so far, it looks good. I think the action is there. I think the brutality is there. It seems the tone is similar to the Netflix show. It seems like they're not pulling any punches. And it does feel like a season 4 because a lot of the storylines are carried over from that ending of season 3 with the cliffhanger going into this new show. I will say I am a bit worried about it just because the Disney Plus of it all. But these characters rock. And I'm just beyond excited for this show to come back. Like this is my most anticipated show of this year by far, and that's even with The Last of Us coming back. So,
I mean, I know people that aren't even big Marvel heads that just rave about Daredevil, and they're like, "That's one of the greatest shows I've ever watched." So
you guys got to see it. Just find the time. Find the time.
That's. I will say it's a lot of time. 3 seasons of television is a lot of time. So we'll see.
All right, so there's 5 weeks till the beginning of March. So, how many? Dang, that's a lot. Yeah,
there's like almost 40 episodes, right?
Hour each.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
okay. So there's 30 episodes.
Okay.
So in 5 weeks, 30 episodes. Yeah, that'd be like an episode a day, kind of almost. Would it be? No. Yeah, it's kind of almost an episode a day. I just think you guys need to get some familiarity with the original series before we jump into this show.
No.
Because I would like to do weekly recaps of it on here with you guys.
Yeah, I think whether I watch it or not, I think I'm sure
at least find like a video where you're like
summarizes it or something.
Yeah. I would also highly recommend if you do watch like a recap video, just also watch the last episode of the show before the new one starts. You might be a little confused, but I think it's a good jumping off point. Also, I'm very convinced the guy who plays Foggy Nelson is super dead when the show starts. Like, I think that's going to be the initial thing that starts it off, and I'll be very bummed out because Foggy is one of the best characters on the show. So yeah, Daredevil, I'm beyond excited. if I know we did movies that were most anticipated this year, but like if we were just to do like anything, this would have been my number 3 behind Mission Impossible and Superman. So yeah, pretty
Big
pumped.
shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. Big shoes. All right, let's talk Severance.
What's for
Charles. Charles is a big Severance head.
I watched the first episode of season 1.
What'd you think of that?
I thought it was very interesting.
Nice.
That's all I got though.
All right. Do you want to hear spoilers, or do you not want to hear spoilers?
I'll take it up.
All right, we'll wave you back. All right, Jack. It's been a couple years. I know you got on the bandwagon afterwards.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the first step back?
It was very good. It obviously, especially after the season finale that we got, we want to know what happened with these characters. But just knowing this show and looking back on it, I should have known that they weren't just going to hand us the answers, because at the end of that season, you feel like you're so close to getting the answers that you want. And then we just show up back at the office on the severed floor, runs around, immediately goes to check for his wife. She's not there. I think there's a lot of things in this episode that Milchick specifically tells the employees that is just complete baloney. I think that, we can hop into this later, but it was a great first episode back. I am more interested than I've ever been in this show during the week and a half that I've been invested in this show. It's great. I love these characters, and I think they're continuing to just kind of give us this really slow burn that totally works. So what do you think?
Agreed. I really, really enjoyed it. I am wondering, so obviously it starts off with Adam Scott's Mark. He goes to the office and there's 3 different people. So I am wondering, like, if the other outies for his main group, do they have like the day off work? Like, or did they go, because they didn't have a different office. They went to a different people. Like, they just weren't there. So I wonder kind of where maybe they were in that meantime. I also am very curious to see how, I do agree with you. I think Milchick is lying about a lot. I also don't think that there was the 5-month time gap. I do think it maybe was just the next day. I do wonder the ramifications on the outside, how much Lumen actually has changed, what their outside, showing up actually did. I was pretty interested that they didn't see, like, the other desk mates didn't seem super interested in the whole Miss Casey mystery, because I think for the audience, that's like the number one mystery going on right now, besides obviously, what Lumen really is and what they actually do there. I really like Milchick's rise to power, almost, where he's just like still petty in it because the computer doesn't say his name. I thought the video was great, like the welcome back video.
Keanu Reeves.
It was a nice little recap of season 1 too, to be like, all right, I can't remembering what stuff's happening. I do think though, as the show goes along, I'm very interested to see if maybe the outies ever, because I think one thing that they could do that they haven't done yet is find a way to have the outies wake up on the inside. And I think that would really be something very interesting, which we just haven't had the chance to see yet. But the one thing I did love, and it's not really tied specifically to the episode, was I read an article about the creators of the show, so like Ben Stiller and his team, and they talked about they have a plan for the ending. They know where the ending's going. Season 3 is pretty much already mapped out and ready to roll. And I really appreciate that, because I think that one thing Apple does well is it doesn't let stuff linger. Like, if it's over, it's over. And I think especially with a show like this, where you're promising a lot of mysteries, you can't just drag them out for 6-7 seasons. We need to have a nice little bow at the end, maybe 3-4 seasons called a day. Let's get out of here. Because I think that is the way to have prestigious television last in the culture versus, just dragging something out for way too long.
Yeah. I mean, when I learned that I watched the first episode and I saw Ben Stiller show up as the director, I was shocked. I'm like, this is so different than anything Ben Stiller has ever done. But I love that he is such like a comedic genius, but can also be such a genius and such a serious, well done movie or show. I mean, obviously he's done great work, and Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I mean, Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, yeah, by far.
Zoolander. He as a director, he's made great things, but something to this magnitude of, I don't know, it just feels so real. It's not.
Yes.
It's so outside of his genre that I feel like you could easily just say, "Oh, this is what Ben Stiller is. He's the comedy guy." So I really do love this for him. And seeing that, I've watched so many interviews of him talking about this show and his relationship with the cast, how he directs the show, and like you said, obviously that they have an ending. So I think Apple TV is doing great work right now. I think they are just pumping out some great shows right now. I know Silo is a massive shrinking.
Yeah, Silo season 1 was so good. I haven't jumped into season 2 yet, but Silo was so good.
But
Shrinking, Shrinking I've heard is incredible. Ted Lasso, obviously.
Yeah.
I do think that is the way that you stand out now in the streaming world. Is you need amazing originals, where Netflix is more of the model of like, let's just churn out as much as possible and see what sticks. Where Apple TV is like almost the HBO model, where it's like, we're gonna take our time, we're gonna do prestige television. Maybe you get one or maybe 5 to 6 shows a year, but they are the shows that everyone's got to be talking about, and like, it's working.
Yeah, I got a couple things I just want to hear your opinion on. So this is clearly not Helly, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I did see that theory, and I was a little, I don't know. I do almost agree with it, but I don't know. I don't know. I do think that there is a strong possibility that it is not the any Helly, it's the Audi Helly.
Yeah. Because the way I look at it, I'm like, she is such a prominent figure in this business. I mean, holy cow, she is the daughter of the Egan.
Yeah, woman.
So, so she is, I would assume after her father passes, she would get the reins to the company. I mean, I feel like that's what
that's what it feels like.
Yeah. There's no way her Audi is going to let her do what she's done. You know what I'm saying? Especially after she just screams all these crazy truths. Everyone down there is unhappy in front of the most powerful people that help control this company. And we don't even know what this company's doing. We get a little hint of that at the end, which I've seen a lot of theories on. I don't know if you've seen any of them.
I'm trying to. So after this is more of a personal thing, but after the Marvel shows started, there was all those like, here's what's happening in WandaVision and here's what's happening in Loki. I watched a lot of those, and then it kind of diminished my enjoyment of the show because it was like a lot of time people got it right, which like credit to them. Like that's awesome, you got it right.
Sure.
But I almost want to live in the mystery in the moment now, so I'm trying to avoid that as much. I only really do stuff with the creators and like the actors in it because they know the line to like what to say. So no, I haven't seen any of those, but I'm happy to hear a theory if you got one.
So I've heard theories. Obviously, the end of the episode, as he's sorting through the data, we get a glimpse of a profile of Miss Casey.
Yes.
So ideally, the individuals that work for them, sometimes these individuals may be kidnapped, which the little girl, Mrs. I don't want to butcher her name. The young girl, the child that's in the office now.
The manager. That was a very funny line when he was like, I made 4 friends, and she's like, I'm your supervisor. We can't be friends. That was very funny.
That was funny.
Like that was very funny.
I think it has some pretty witty stuff. I mean, Mr. Milkshake, I thought that was funny. I laughed.
Yeah. Mark's like, oh my God, you do that, other Mark? And he was like, this is for you tried to take my name. Like that was so good.
Also,
Mark W.
Milkshake is just an awesome. I love Milkshake. I think
Milkshake is so good.
The actor who plays Milkshake,
Trammell Tillman.
You know what he's going to be in? Guess.
Mission Impossible.
Yes, he's going to be in Mission Impossible.
I did know that.
And even if he has the smallest role ever, I will be standing up in my theater just clapping.
I hope he's just like a random CIA guy who's just like against what Ethan's doing. That would be incredible. Just like all he has to do is say once or twice, like, I don't believe in Ethan Hunt. I'd be like, this is the greatest guy of all time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean the blue fit, the turtleneck.
Oh, electric.
Bro always has fits down to a T. I don't know if he's my favorite character, but he's definitely up there for me. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we didn't cover.
I will say the thing I do love about this show is it does feel like very thought out. And I think that was something that I struggled with in Lost. Like I tried to watch Lost, and obviously it's different watching it in the time versus watching it like now because you just watch Netflix and like run through the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But Lost, after season like 3 or 4, I just got really uninvested in it because it felt like it was just pushing the story along to push the story along. Where, like I said earlier, like this feels very deliberate in everything it's doing. It feels like it knows the audience wants answers to questions, so it's going to answer those questions, but also give you the next thing. And I think that's a really smart choice for what this is. I do wonder, like, I almost do agree with you that I think maybe there is something to Helly not being Helly. So I wonder where that's going to go. But
Me too.
I'm so excited for that next week. Like this is another testament to how good weekly content is.
Yes.
I hate that word. But like weekly shows are, because it does just really get you invested in it week by week versus just, dropping it all at once. So yeah.
And it gives you it's nice because like my roommate likes this show. I watch it with him. Some of our friends are like watching it right now. So like just being able to like have it on the schedule and be like, oh, like let's watch it together or something like that. Like I feel it kind of gives if it just came out on Friday, maybe you could have watched the entire season, and for some reason I had something going on Friday.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Saturday and couldn't.
Exactly.
It just kind of ruins it. But
especially with a show like this with like mysteries to be solved. Like I don't want to see like a tweet that's like, oh my God, they actually are all robots. That would like really make me so angry. So I'm very glad it's not doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's wave him back. He's coming back. Welcome back, Charles.
Thank you.
His innie is back.
His innie is back. He's back in on the elevator. Do you not get that? You watched the first episode.
I don't know what innie means though.
That's like you should watch this show. This is a show you should watch. I know I've given you 2 shows to watch today, but like this one is really great.
Okay.
As someone who doesn't watch a lot of TV shows, I feel I recommend pretty good ones overall.
This one's pretty manageable to binge too. Like when I heard
it's only like what 10
episodes.
episodes.
The first one I think it's like 9. I want to say, and it's like 7 hours total.
All
so
right.
Not saying just sit down today and just grind it out, but it's
unless you're soft,
sure.
If you're cool like the rest of us, maybe you will do that. All right, let's talk Wolfman, and more like Wolfman. So a family at a remote farmhouse is attacked by an unseen animal, but as night stretches on, the father begins to transform into something unrecognizable. Directed by Lee Winnell, starring Julia Gardner, Christopher Abbott. Lee Winnell, who rebooted The Invisible Man a few years ago, which I think is an incredible movie. I think Invisible Man is super strong and one of the best ways you could have redone a Universal monster. He did it again. He went to Wolfman, tried to do it again. In my opinion, to a very different result. So, do we want to do no spoilers? Do we want to do spoilers? I know Charles is probably never going to see this, so he'll sit in on it anyway, and maybe we can ask him questions about this movie as we go along. Jack, I'm of the opinion that we just give our scores right off the bat and then just go into spoilers, because it's kind of hard to talk about this without saying what it actually is about.
100%.
All right, so what did you give this out of 100?
Out of 100, I gave this movie a 56.
All right. All right. That's better than I gave it.
Let me preface that by saying I walked into this movie. I'm not a big creature. Like, these movies aren't necessarily something that pop out to me. Even if this movie, maybe if the trailer was really good for this, I might be like, man, that looks interesting. but I feel like even if this trailer was amazing, this might not be the movie that's like, this is kind of in the category of not necessarily for me. So I was kind of shocked in this movie, which we'll get to later. But Hunter, what did you give it out of 100?
I gave it a 32 out of 100.
Woof,
I
shoot.
think this was
Woof.
not good. I am not. I like agree but disagree. I do kind of like these creature movies.
Okay.
And my biggest issue with this was the titular creature. I think the Wolfman himself looked awful. I think every time I saw him, it just took me out of this movie. He was way more man than wolf.
Yeah.
And it just really stunk because I love, like, I think we've had some great werewolves in cinema, and like this is not one of them. This was not an interesting looking one. It was way too human. I mean, it just looked like a hairy guy. I really did not love the design at all. And listen, I can get over a bad design, like if the movie is solid, but the movie around this is really not. I think Christopher Abbott is good here as the Wolfman, but unfortunately for me, I think one of the weakest parts here is Julia Gardner as the wife.
Yeah.
As Charlotte.
I think it's the chemistry between the two, though. They set up.
Yes, they set up the divorce.
They set up the divorce, and you're like, all right, look, this is a marriage that might be, heading south. We get that from the get-go. But I never think there's a point in this movie, and I think we're going to agree on a lot of the same things, even though our scores are a little bit different. I think the way I left that movie, truly, my expectations were, dare I say, at the floor for this. And
same. Actually, maybe a little higher because I did like Invisible Man quite a bit. So I was like, all right, I think Lee Winnell can do this.
To a certain extent, I was like, I really don't even want to see this movie. I left and I was like, you know what? I was entertained. Sure, there's some things in here, specifically like the chemistry. There's that sequence where Julia Gardner's trying to talk to her husband, saying like, I love you and all this stuff. And I'm just kind of like, there's never a point in the movie where I really feel like that changed, like I feel like they really did love each other. So for me, I was just, the chemistry kind of took me out of it. I didn't love the design of Wolfman all that much either, but I think that the transformation sequences were really awesome, and I really did enjoy those. Like the sequence where he's in the house and he starts hearing the banging, and he walks upstairs to find that it's just a spider crawling up the wall.
I love that.
I love that. And the sequence where his nails,
cool.
The body horror of his nails popping out and his claws coming in, I really liked that. I think the transformation sequences, if you just showed someone the transformation sequences, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this has to be like such a cool werewolf. But I totally agree. I've seen a lot of people call it Sasquatch online because honestly,
he is more. Yes.
I don't get the lore either. They introduced the lore and they kind of tease it at the beginning. Like, oh, back in 1995, this hiker went missing. And sure, they do revisit it later, but they don't build that up at all. I think it's just kind of like, we're going to throw it at you like 3 times. And that's about it.
Yes. I didn't mind the lore of it all. Like I get the disease where it's like it's in this part of the world there is like this disease in the mountains that does like afflict people. I think it's hard because it's like you have to either go all in with like the wolf of it all or try to like base it in some reality. And I just think that they based it too much in reality. Like I wanted go a little more wacky with it. Just really go for it. If it's the Wolfman. Like if you're gonna do it, do it. Like it just feels like they tried to like cop out with like it's actually a disease that like kind of makes you look like a wolf person.
Give us a shot of him howling at the moon. Like that's what they do, right? I just didn't see that, and I was just like, I feel like werewolves, that's something they do, and maybe it would have been corny if it happened. I don't know.
No, but I think that I mean, look, I'm there expecting something, and you just didn't give me really what I was expecting at all, which sometimes you subvert expectations and it works really well for you. This is not one of those examples. And I do agree with you. I think the big issue was the chemistry between Christopher Abbott and Julia Gardner. I was kind of expecting that moment where there was kind of the realization between the two, like, yes, maybe we don't love being together, but we still love each other. We have this like respect for each other. And like, that is through Ginger, their kid. And there just never was that moment where it was almost a passing of the torch, because obviously he's like her protector in the beginning. Like he is very involved in her life. And like Julia Gardner says, like, hey, you know, it sucks I'm not like a great mom. And so I was kind of waiting for like that moment where like he knows what's happening to him. And then it kind of has like that heart to heart with her where it's like, I know what's going on. But because of the disease of it all, like they didn't allow them to have that conversation, which I think would have done a lot for the emotional aspects of this movie. And also, so the ending parallels the beginning with them. And I really liked the idea of that. I just don't think it hits the same if it wasn't Christopher Abbott pulling the trigger. Right, like I get it's Julia Gardner now, and like it's like her being the protector of their daughter instead of the father protecting the son. But I think it would have been a more full circle moment if like it was him protecting his daughter and actually, you know, succeeding in it. Because like I guess the symbolism could have been like, well, the Wolfman got away originally from him because he failed in protecting his son, and like that's why his son became, you know, distant from him, where like Christopher Abbott does succeed and is not like his father, or instead they went with like he's basically his father again. Like they just did like the whole, he became the person he want to be.
I thought the generational trauma, like
that worked.
Using the werewolf as kind of like the vehicle to push that notion along throughout the movie. I think it worked. And I think at the end, I understand where you're coming from, saying it could have been done in a different way, but I think the mother killing Christopher Abbott in this movie, it kind of just like, you know, symbolizes, all right, like the generational trauma, like it stops here. Like,
but I think that means it's going to continue. Like, I think that's where they're at is like,
no, I know. And it's like
the cycle will continue again.
Okay. I got you. When I was like seeing that though, I thought it was like, well, like he's gone, like this is it. Like there's no way this can end without him dying.
Yeah. Maybe.
And especially his father being the other werewolf. I think that was good. And the problem was when they had dialogue in between, like they show the father being the werewolf, and I'm like, all right, they're trying to play on some like generational trauma a bit right here. And they throw it at you earlier in the movie too.
Yeah.
Like you want to protect your children, so then you become the monster in their lives. Stuff like some of the dialogue here was just kind of like, I'm like, you didn't need to. I understand. You didn't need to put it on a silver platter for me. But I think they could have had some dialogue that was different. Like as soon as they showed the father, I'm like, all right, I get it. I understand what you're saying. And then they're just like, oh my gosh, that was his dad, or like something like that. And I'm like, come on.
That's where it's hard too, because I like the idea of it. I think that the concept was fine. I really think it comes down to execution. And yeah, it just really, for me, it was a lack there, you know, of what it was trying to represent and say. I also do think it was funny that they picked up that guy who's like his friend when he was a kid.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, I'll show you where the driveway is. And they're driving. And then by the time they like run it off the road, it is nighttime. But the whole thing of this area is like, don't be out after dark. So is that guy just gonna like stay over, like, or like, hey, I'm gonna drive back in this car and I'll give you a call in the morning when you need it again. So I thought that was just kind of funny. But yeah, I was a little disappointed here because, like, listen, if you're gonna give me a bad creature movie, at least make the creature look cool. And so I could be like, wow, that's a cool design. The creature did not look cool here. I did like the concept of like I liked when they switched perspectives and it was like what he was seeing. It just really didn't do a lot for me.
Another thing I found that was kind of funny, like you said, I like the perspective change. I thought that was cool. Like where you have no idea what they're saying. and it's all blue, and it looked a little goofy, but like to be honest, I wasn't really worried about that. I was kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
like this is kind of like a supernatural kind of view of what they look like. The father never tried to hurt the family. There's never a scene.
He chases them down.
But he looks at them. He never jumps at them. But like him jumping at them at the end is like, just kill me. Like, I don't want to be like this.
No, yeah, I guess he never really did like attack them.
He shows up at the door and the wife cuts him when he gets close. You know what I'm saying? Because he could have ran up to him and done all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because like then she cuts off his foot and he gets so close to them. He's standing right in front of them in the dark. He could have killed him whenever he wanted to, but he doesn't.
Yeah. He really
just
wanted
mind
to kill him.
He wanted to either kill him or just be like, hey, like just look at me like I'm you guys, which never was going to happen.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing I find in this, okay, first off, the daughter, I thought she was good. I mean, I know I've seen a lot of people just like I've seen some people kind of shit on her.
I thought so.
I thought she was good. But at the beginning, they make a really big emphasis that this father is a really big hunter. This guy just loves going out to hunt. Surely he has a bunch of guns.
Yeah,
there's no guns in the house. There's no guns in the house. What? If this guy hunts, he's going to have guns in his basement.
I also thought it was silly they had a dog. They got the doggy door.
Yes.
I was like, this dude has everything locked up, and he's gonna leave a dog door available.
I don't know. I thought the sequence with the daughter, and I think the chemistry is for sure stronger with Christopher Abbott and the daughter than which it was supposed to be that way, and I thought they did a good job in doing that. I think that kind of relationship allowed me to stay more invested in this movie than maybe most people. Overall, probably never going to watch this movie again, but it entertained me in a theater, and I was happy.
Well,
Chuck, this is a must watch for you.
Yeah, Chuck, you got to see this one. I will say so this movie was supposed to star Ryan Gosling as the Wolfman. And as much as I love Ryan Gosling, I don't think he even could have saved this movie.
No.
I will say, though, I just think that if everyone is a little more charming and charismatic, it would have worked a little bit better. Because they're like kind of just like the most nothing people before this happens. Besides the daughter, none of them have like a great like personality. And I think you need that in horror movies where like you have to likable characters, and really only Christopher Abbott and his daughter are likable going into it. Like Julia Gardner is not like a very likable character like during the movie at all.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's Wolfman. January releases, baby. That's what we get. That's what we get. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we got. Next week we have the movie of the year, baby, Flight Risk. Flight Risk. We'll talk Severance episode 2. I'm gonna try to see The Brutalist. I'm gonna try to see Better Man. No promises.
I'm gonna see The Brutalist. So if you can see it this next week, we could do a review for next week because I have tickets for Thursday to go see it. So I'm already locked and loaded. Shout out the AMC Bloomington for having something. That very rare. Is Sing Sing in any of your guys' theaters?
Nope.
Very bad times. I think it's in a couple of my theaters.
It's so frustrating. It's like they're at my theaters back home. They're at the theater in Indianapolis. It's not here. So I'm absolutely crushed. I hope that movie gets I hope A24 does a nice little DVD packaging for that movie, because I will be ready to hop on that as soon as that is released. Because every time I search Sing Sing DVD or 4K or HD or something, I always get that stupid animated Sing movie. I'm so sick and tired of finding that online. So please, Sing Sing, get an awesome DVD release, potentially Criterion Collection. Probably not, but maybe in the near future. Please, I'm begging you.
I was thinking for next week's episode, maybe we each pick one movie we've seen on the Criterion Collection.
Chat about it.
and we watch them.
All right.
Kind of like the Christmas movies thing.
I'm down. Chuckleless. Yeah, I'm open for that. We could look into that. But
Cool.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that
could play.
You think that could play, Hunter, Mr.
I think that
Nautico?
could play.
All right.
Sorry, I'm looking at my schedule next week to see when I can squeeze in these electric movies like Flight Risk. So
Yeah. If the Brutus
All
is as good as advertised, I might go see it again over.
There was a report. I didn't read about the report very detailed, but apparently the Brutalist does use AI. I'm not sure of our opinions on AI, but it's kind of lame depending on how they used it. So just putting that out there that we, as a podcast, we do know that happened. We don't know the details of it because we didn't read past the article headline, but we know it happened. Listen, we're gonna read the headlines all day long. We're never gonna read into the articles. That's for us to guess. So yeah.
TikTok is
All right,
back.
yeah. TikTok's back. Flight Risk. TikTok being banned lasted less than one episode. Flight Risk next week, then Companion the following week, which I'm actually very excited for Companion. So
Me too.
yeah, and then also Captain America coming up soon. Second Marvel movie on the pod ever. So pretty excited. Pretty excited. I got my tickets already. I got some electric seats in IMAX. So yeah,
Huge.
maybe we'll discuss popcorn buckets when time comes. But that's all I got. That's all we got for Jack and Charles. Have a great week at the box office. And hey, go watch Wolfman, I guess, if you want. If not, The Brutalist is out. Also, hope your innie has a great week at work.